If you own a dachshund or you're thinking about getting one, there is something you need to understand right away. These dogs are not small dogs in the way most people think of small dogs. They are compact hunting machines with a spine that demands your respect, a brain that will outsmart you, and a personality that will run your household if you let it. Most of the mistakes dachshund owners make don't come from being bad pet owners. They come from treating a dachshund like a generic small breed, and that is where things go wrong. In this video, we're going through 10 specific mistakes that dachshund owners make, mistakes that affect everything from your dog's spinal health to their behavior to how long they actually live. These are not vague tips you've read 100 times. These are the real, breed-specific things that matter for this particular dog. Stay until the end because some of these might genuinely surprise you. Mistake number 1, letting your dachshund use the stairs every day. Most people know that dachshund have long spines, but very few understand what that actually means in practice. The dachshund's body type is caused by a genetic mutation called chondrodystrophy, which affects how their cartilage develops. Their spines are long, their legs are short, and the discs between their vertebrae are far more vulnerable to rupture than in almost any other breed. Stairs are one of the silent destroyers of a dachshund's back health. Every time your dog climbs or descends a staircase, the motion puts repeated, uneven stress on those vulnerable spinal discs. Most owners think their dog does fine on the stairs because there is no visible limp or cry, but the damage is cumulative. By the time symptoms of intervertebral disc disease, the condition that paralyzes dachshunds, actually show up, the disc may already be significantly deteriorated. If your home has stairs, get ramps or carry your dog. It is not overprotective. It is understanding the breed's anatomy. This one change could add years of mobility to your dog's life. Mistake number 2, using a collar instead of a harness. Walk into any pet store and most leash and collar setups are designed with the general dog population in mind. For a dachshund, using a neck collar as their primary walking attachment is a genuine health risk. When a dachshund pulls, and they will pull because they are scent-driven hunters built to chase, any collar pressure goes straight to their cervical spine. Their necks are relatively long compared to their body, and repeated jerking or pulling from a collar can contribute to neck and upper spinal injuries over time. A well-fitted harness distributes that pressure across the chest and torso instead. This is a small change that costs almost nothing to make, and it matters specifically for this breed in a way that it doesn't for, say, a Labrador or a Beagle. Get your dachshund in a harness, not a figure-8 harness that restricts shoulder movement, but a proper chest harness that sits flat and gives them full range of motion. Mistake number 3, letting them jump on and off furniture freely. Your dachshund jumping onto the couch or launching themselves off the bed might look adorable. In reality, every unsupported landing is a risk event for their spine. The force generated when a dachshund lands from even a modest height, say the height of a couch, travels up through their legs and into their spine. When their intervertebral discs are already predisposed to calcification and rupture, that landing impact is not trivial. The fix is not to ban your dog from furniture, it's to put dog steps or a low ramp at every furniture surface they like to access so they never have to leap. This is one of those cases where a small investment of $30 or $40 in a set of pet stairs eliminates an ongoing daily risk. Many dachshunds who experience sudden paralysis have owners who say the dog just jumped off the bed one morning. That moment is almost always preceded by months or years of compounding disc damage. Don't wait for the emergency. Mistake number 4, overfeeding them and ignoring weight gain. Dachshunds are one of the breeds most prone to obesity, and in their case, extra weight is not just a health issue in the general sense, it is a spinal emergency waiting to happen. A miniature dachshund should typically weigh between 8 and 11 pounds. A standard dachshund between 16 and 32 pounds, depending on their build. Even 2 or 3 pounds over their ideal weight creates significantly more mechanical load on that long spine every single day. The problem is that dachshunds are extraordinary at convincing their owners that they are starting. They will beg, they will paw at you, they will give you a look of such profound suffering that you will question your own sanity for not giving them more food. Don't fall for it. Follow your vet's recommended portion size, use a proper measuring cup rather than just eyeballing it, and limit treats so they count toward the daily calorie total rather than being added on top of it. A lean dachshund is a dachshund whose spine is carrying far less risk. Mistake number 5. Missing the early warning signs of IVDD. Intervertebral disc disease affects an estimated 25% of all dachshunds at some point in their lives. That is not a rare condition. It is a breed-specific reality you need to be prepared for. And the owners who get the best outcomes are not the ones who react the fastest when their dog is already paralyzed. They're the ones who caught the early signs before the situation became a crisis. Here is what early IVDD actually looks like in a dachshund. Your dog might seem reluctant to go up ramps or jump onto surfaces they normally use without hesitation. They might cry out when you pick them up, not every time, but occasionally. You might notice them holding their neck down and moving more stiffly than usual. In more advanced early-stage cases, you'll see their back legs looking uncoordinated, a wobbling or crossing gait called ataxia. One of the most important signs is knuckling, when the dog walks on the tops of their toes rather than the pads of their feet, meaning they've lost sensation in their paws. If you see any of these signs, get to a vet immediately. Time is genuinely everything with IVDD. The window between early symptoms and permanent paralysis can be very short, and early intervention, whether surgical or medical, dramatically changes outcomes. Learn these signs. Do not wait and see.
Mistake 6. Misreading their stubbornness as stupidity. Dachshunds consistently appear on lists of dogs that are hard to train or ranked lower in terms of obedience intelligence. This is one of the most misunderstood things about the breed. Dachshunds are not slow. They are willfully independent because that is exactly what they were bred to be. Dachshunds were developed in Germany to hunt badgers, underground, in burrows without their human handler present to give instructions. That required a dog capable of making its own decisions in the field, pursuing prey persistently, and not abandoning a task just because it got difficult. That trait did not disappear with domestication. When your dachshund ignores your command, it is not failing to understand you. It is weighing whether your instruction is worth more to it than whatever it is currently doing. That is a different problem than confusion, and it requires a different solution. Short, high-reward training sessions work far better with this breed than long, repetitive drills. Use extremely high-value treats, not their regular kibble. Keep sessions under 5 minutes. Build in novelty so their curious minds stay engaged, and understand that consistency from you matters more than the total time you spend training them. A dachshund trained correctly will do things you genuinely did not expect them to be capable of. Mistake 7. Skipping early socialization. Dachshunds have a reputation for being feisty and snappy, and while that is sometimes overstated, it comes from somewhere real. Studies on dog bite statistics consistently show that dachshunds rank higher than many people expect when it comes to biting incidents, particularly with strangers and young children. This is not because the breed is inherently dangerous. It is because they are confident, territorial, and intensely loyal to their people in a way that makes them wary of outsiders. The antidote is early, consistent, positive socialization, and most owners either skip it entirely or underdo it. Socializing a dachshund puppy means deliberately exposing them to a wide variety of people, sounds, environments, other animals, and situations while they are still in the developmental window of about 3 to 14 weeks. It means making those exposures genuinely positive, not just neutral. A dachshund that is only comfortable with their immediate family and becomes reactive or snappy around everyone else is not a happy dog. It's an anxious one expressing that anxiety through aggression. Give them the social foundation early, and you will have a confident, manageable, and genuinely enjoyable companion. Mistake 8. Using a retractable leash. Retractable leashes are a problem for many dogs, but they are specifically dangerous for dachshunds for a reason that goes beyond the usual safety concerns. When a dachshund locks onto a scent, a squirrel, another dog, a rabbit, a candy wrapper on the ground, they do not slow down to consider the consequences. They go.
And when that retractable leash runs out of cord and snaps them to a sudden stop, the jolt at the end of that line goes directly through the collar or even a harness and sends a shockwave up their spine. Beyond the spinal risk, retractable leashes give you almost no actual control over a dog on a scent trail. A dachshund can cover significant ground extremely quickly once they are motivated, and by the time you've pressed the lock button and started reeling them in, they may have already reached the street or gotten tangled around something dangerous. Use a fixed-length leash, 4 to 6 feet, and keep your dachshund close enough that you have genuine directional control. Their prey drive is not a training failure, it's a breed feature. Manage it with the right equipment. Mistake 9. Ignoring their need for mental stimulation and nose work. Because dachshunds are small and seem to sleep a lot, many owners assume their enrichment needs are minimal. This is a significant mistake. Dachshunds were purpose-bred as working dogs with highly active noses and independent problem-solving minds. A dachshund without enough mental stimulation will find ways to stimulate itself, usually through excessive barking, destructive chewing, or relentless attention-seeking behavior. The best form of enrichment for this breed is nose work, structured activities that engage their extraordinary sense of smell. This can be as simple as hiding pieces of their food around the house for them to find, using snuffle mats, or working through a basic scent detection game where they identify which cup or container holds a treat. You can also do puzzle feeders, Kong toys stuffed with food, or basic tracking games in the backyard. These activities do not require much time from you. 15 minutes of nose work tires a dachshund out in a way that an hour of walking simply doesn't. Their brain is their most demanding organ. Feed it appropriately. Mistake 10. Punishing or discouraging their burrowing behavior. You'll notice your dachshund doing something that probably baffles or frustrates you. They'll push their nose under blankets, root through cushions, burrow under your laundry, and generally try to wedge themselves into any enclosed space they can find. Many owners interpret this as weird behavior, or they actively discourage it because it tears up blankets or disturbs the furniture. This is a mistake. Burrowing is not a quirk of your individual dog. It's a hardwired behavior bred into the dachshund for centuries. These dogs were designed to enter underground tunnels after prey. The instinct to be enclosed, to push through tight spaces, and to rest in a covered den is deeply embedded in who they are. When you prevent this behavior without giving them an outlet for it, you create an anxious, restless dog. Instead, give them appropriate places to satisfy it. A dog cave bed, a dedicated blanket they are allowed to burrow in, or even a cardboard tunnel you make yourself is enough. When a dachshund can burrow and settle into a cozy enclosed space, they relax at a level you will see in their entire body. It is not a bad habit. It's the breed speaking its own language. Learn to listen to it. Owning a dachshund well is not complicated, but it is specific. It requires understanding that this dog is built differently, thinks differently, and needs differently than most breeds. The 10 things we've covered, protecting their spine, using the right equipment, catching health issues early, training with their nature instead of against it, giving them mental outlets, and respecting their instincts, these are the foundations of a long, healthy, happy life for your dog. If this helped you understand your dachshund better, do your fellow dachshund owners a favor and share this video with them. Drop a comment below telling us which mistake surprised you the most. We read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on notifications, because we put out content specifically for dog owners who want to go beyond the basics and actually understand their breed. Your dog deserves an owner who knows the difference. See you in the next one.